Hello, welcome back to my channel. In this video, we are going to talk about physical health and weight loss goals, action step ideas, goal ideas, all of the things. This is the last video in a series that I have been doing this month. This is the first one that you're catching. I highly recommend that you click back to the first one, which was finances. Even if you don't have any finance goals, just watch the intro so that you kind of understand what we're doing in these videos. This is the last topic that we're going to cover. And this is always a very common topic, but at the same time, tough conversation to have because there are so many facets to this type of goal and so many different whys and so many different lifestyles and implementation strategies and all kinds of things related to this goal that I do sometimes struggle to talk about it, which is why I put it last, because I wanted to feel good about the other 3 videos. Those topics I feel really confident talking on. This one is tougher. Not that I don't feel like I can help people accomplish these goals, and I absolutely have in the past. I always do want to make sure that I add the caveat, I do not have any sort of certifications in terms of physical health, personal training, nutrition, blah, etc. I don't have any certifications. I am coming at this goal from a habit and goal setting mindset, from my experience and knowledge as somebody who helps other people achieve their personal goals. This just happens to be one of the most common personal goals. So I couldn't not include it. And I'm excited to share all of these ideas with you. Hopefully something in here really helps give you permission to set goals that are realistic and manageable and successful for you so that you can actually see progress in this category. I know a lot of people struggle. They talk about that they carry this goal over year. And the biggest reason, I'm just gonna say it before we jump into any of the ideas, is that we think we need to operate from an all or nothing standpoint. The only way that we're gonna succeed at taking care of our physical health or losing weight, seeing that number on the scale drop, is if we change everything about that aspect of our lives. And that is just not sustainable in the long term. We have to focus on letting the small steps add up to create small progress, but lasting progress. So I'm gonna go through in this video all of the goal ideas that community members shared that they set this year that fall within this category, and then we'll go through all the action steps. So just like all the other videos, I've lumped goals that are similar to each other into different subcategories. So the first one is health, like when you think of the word health and going to the doctor, like that sort of category. So somebody wrote address my blood pressure. Somebody else wrote lower my blood pressure. One person submitted get baseline tests done, which I love that one because that is how you can start with where you're at. If you get those baseline tests done, you get to those doctor's appointments, you get your blood work, your hormone levels, whatever it is that you want to get checked, knowing where you're at can help you see the progress that you're making when you implement the small changes. Get checkups, there were a lot that kind of were similar to that. And then somebody put get on top of medical things. I feel that. The next category was eating/nutrition. So some of the goals that were set, these aren't action steps yet. These are the goals, the overarching annual goals that community members set within these categories. So the first one was just eat better. I love a goal that is like more or better. I talked about this in one of the other videos, like just keeping it as simple as that. If you are improving, that's progress. Improve nutrition, improve relationship with food, and somebody else wrote to track calories. The next category is movement related. So some of the overarching goals were average 10,000 steps per day, which also could be an action step. You'll see steps come up again. Be more physically active, have a consistent workout routine, exercise regularly, whatever that means for you, continue to lift weights 2 to 3 times per week, improve my fitness, get stronger, and figure out physical pain. I like that one. I thought about putting that one in the doctor health category, but ultimately I decided it goes in the movement category. The next category is to lose weight, and this is not a bad goal. I have said it before, it is okay. I've had it before. I've had the goal to lose weight. The thing I want you to keep in mind with this specific goal is, number one, not worrying so much about the number on the scale. Now, if you, depending on where you're at in your life, you might know that you want that number to be lower, and that's fine. You can set a goal to lose weight. Keep in mind though, that ultimately that number is out of your control. It ultimately is out of your control, and there are so many factors that impact what that number is. Like, you could do lots of things and take lots of action, and the number could still not change or still not go down to what you want it to get to. The other thing to remember with so many factors being out of your control related to the number on the scale, is that picking a timeline associated to the scale can be very risky. It can be very up in the air. So I typically recommend not associating both a timeline and a numerical goal to the number on the scale, because you just have no idea. So I'm gonna give you some of these examples, but I want you to keep in mind that that would be my recommendation. So the first two are very vague. So feel healthier by losing weight. I love the specificity there. Lose weight just as an option. Somebody else, there were a lot of lose a certain amount of pounds. And once again, if that is the goal that you have and you want to set that goal, I would encourage you to let go of the timeline related to that. And then there were a couple that were lose X% of body weight. I feel like we could go on and on about that topic, and I'm not going to, but I just want you to keep that in mind if you are considering setting a goal in that category next year. Then the last category is just other. So other kind of physical health related goals that people set. So the first one was to honor my body, flourish in my flesh. I love the alliteration there. I am consistent in caring for my body, prepare my body for labor, support my body in postpartum, prioritize my physical well-being. That's very similar to what I set this year. Sleep 6 to 7 hours. I love getting specific on focusing on one area of sleep. Create sustainable, healthy habits. Drink more water, same thing as sleep. Improve my energy, I like that one. And then the last one is to feel better about myself. So those are some actual goal ideas when you're deciding what you want the goal to be. All right, now let's move into the action steps. There are a lot here, and I hope some of these I've had never even thought of. So I'm really excited to share these with you. Like I said, this was one of the most popular goals. It wasn't the most in terms of percentage. Home goals had a higher percentage than physical health, but there are some great suggestions here. So starting with one-time action steps. Clean out the fridge, clean out the pantry, complete a fitness challenge, have a one-on-one coaching call, determine food tracking program, take measurements, make doctor's appointments, establish an earlier bedtime, figure out what metrics I want to track, go to the doctor, join Weight Watchers, lose weight, meet with dietitian, take progress photos, take progress measurements, research to make a list of meals, get a personal trainer, join a gym, buy fitness equipment, buy workout clothes, sign up for a specific workout class, attend said workout class, create freezer meals, track my symptoms, work out 2 times per week, read a book on sleep, and make a medical binder. Lots of different ideas there in that one-time category. Moving on to weekly action items. The first one here is self-care. I love that. Be creative. Do X amount of workouts per week. Exercise for a certain amount of minutes. I love that idea on a total weekly basis, is setting a minute goal for the whole week as opposed to each individual day. Meal plan, meal prep, figure out weekly workout classes in advance, fill my pill organizer, goal check-ins, grocery shop, maintain my Peloton weekly streak, read a health book, weigh in, only eat out once per week. That also was on the finance goal idea list. Love when a goal has a double whammy. Hit a certain step goal. I have also talked about this before as having a step goal on a weekly basis as opposed to a daily basis. Now you could have both. You could have, here's the minimum number of steps I want to hit on a daily basis, and then on a weekly basis, you could have a slightly higher number that pushes you to do some more steps on the days that you're able to. But I have talked before about how your energy levels fluctuate regardless of your physical health levels. Your energy levels vary on a day-to-day basis. And so having a daily step goal, if it's super high, that could become unmotivating. But then when you have a weekly step goal, if you have a lower day, it's like I could still hit that weekly step goal. I know I've shared that in my personal goals videos before, and I've talked about it in a number of places, but in case this is the first time you're hearing about it, I wanted to make sure to comment on it because I really do think a weekly step goal can be very beneficial. And if you want to do it in combination with a daily goal. Recently, especially sitting here at 35 weeks pregnant, my my step goal is non-existent. But when I was tracking my steps regularly and setting step goals, this was back when we lived in New York too, where I got a lot more steps in just by living in New York City. So I would set a daily step goal at 5,000 because that was the step goal that had me push myself a little bit. I pretty much had to leave the apartment. I wasn't gonna get 5,000 steps just existing in our tiny New York City apartment. I had to run pretty much at least one errand to get myself out of the house. But if I did that, and maybe if the errand was not just the place on the corner, I was gonna hit my 5,000 steps. But then my weekly goal was to actually average 7,000 steps per day or 50,000 steps for the week. It's 49,000, it's close enough. But that way, there were days that I pushed myself that I got way more than 7,000, right? I went for a walk, I went to dance, whatever it was, that I got closer to 10,000, but it all averaged itself out. So I had my minimum for the day and then my goal, like kind of stretch goal for the week. All right, continuing the action ideas. No takeout, I like this. Also, maybe instead of none, it's one takeout per week. Regardless, I always recommend you start with where you're at. So if you're ordering takeout, let's say 10 times per week, to go from 10 times per week of takeout to no takeout is a big jump. So if you're doing it 10 times per week, maybe next month you set a goal to do 8 times per week and you focus on that for a month. And then the next month you do 5 times per week and you focus on that and you get down to whatever number feels good. Now, if 0 is what feels right for your health and your budget, go for it. I don't know that I could ever, and I also live in a city where I have lots of takeout options, but I really don't know that I could ever not order takeout at all. So, but maybe I'm working my way down to only doing it once or twice per week. Schedule my workouts in advance, floss and mouthwash, track calories X times per week. I like that one. Go to physical therapy. And then the last one is to work out with a personal trainer. All right, moving into the daily steps. Now, in every other one of these videos, I have said that the daily step is the shortest list, and that still might be true for this one, but there are a lot of daily items. This type of goal is very heavy on the daily action items and the habits that you're building. And as I read through them, I'm probably gonna make comments and add my thoughts, but the overarching theme I want you to always remember, actually there's 2. Number 1 is to start with where you're at. So if you are only drinking 1 cup of water per day, when I say cup, I mean like vehicle. I always recommend tracking water in vehicles as opposed to in ounces. Ounces are just complicated. So you're having 1 of these per day. The goal next week is 1.5. Don't try to go from 1 of these to 4 of these. First off, your body is gonna be like, wow, that's a lot of liquid that I don't know what to do with except go to the bathroom every 5 minutes. But regardless, that's hard to maintain, to jump from 1 of these to 4 of these. So start with where you're at. And then number 2 off of that is small steps. Small steps. If you're doing something every single day, I want you to make it as small as possible. And here's the thing. I know that you feel, because I felt it too, that those small steps don't add up and you don't feel like it's doing anything and you don't feel like it's working. That is why you've got to track your progress on paper. Even if you're not motivated by a check mark, you've got to make those check marks so that you see the progress that you're making. Even if drinking 1.5 of these per day doesn't feel like you're drinking more water, maybe you physically aren't feeling its impact, but you can see on a piece of paper that 20 out of 30 days you hit your water goal, that is going to inspire you and continue that momentum to keep going. That said, let's get into the daily ideas. So we have walk daily, hit my step goal, hit my water goal, vitamins, supplements, sleep goal, no eating out. Kind of the same thing I said on the weekly. Going to none is very tough. So as long as you kind of have the mindset that you're gonna miss days, like there's gonna be days that you still do it, I think that that's helpful. Bedtime routine, go to bed at a certain time, close Apple Watch rings, fill in my health planner, log meals, report to health coach, track calories. Now, I wanna quickly pop in here about tracking food. I literally just got off of a coaching call where I was talking to somebody about this. Tracking your food is a big step. Like if you are going from 0, that's where you're at, is tracking nothing, to tracking everything, that's a lot of tracking. That is 21 meals plus snacks plus whatever drinks you're having. And that's a lot. So step 1, I would recommend is starting smaller than that. Tracking just 1 meal, right? I'm only gonna track breakfast or lunch or dinner, or tracking 1 day or 2 days and then building your way up. Additionally, tracking what you're eating, like literally just the food that you're putting into your mouth versus the calories or the protein or the macros or whatever it is. The point is very different. So that is another layer of improvement, a small step that you can take. You can start by just tracking the food. Like you had a burger for dinner, you write down burger, and then transitioning from tracking the food into tracking whatever numerical thing it is that you want to track. Then the other thing I notice is that when people say, well, I'm gonna track my calories, macros, whatever, they also have a goal related to it. Like you say, I'm gonna track and I wanna stay within however many calories. That is a whole nother step altogether. Tracking is its own beast in and of itself, let alone the adjustments needed to stay within a certain number. So I know you don't want to hear me tell you to do it in those small phases, but it is so much more successful if you say, right now I'm tracking nothing. I know nothing about what I'm putting into my body. Okay, so the next week I'm just gonna track breakfast. And you do that for, let's say 2 to 3 weeks. Now, if you're somebody who sets goals on a monthly basis, you're like, I can't increase it till the month. That's okay. The smaller steps, the better. So track breakfast, then you add in tracking lunch, then you add in tracking dinner. Then you transition to tracking let's say you want to track macros for breakfast. Then you track macros for breakfast and food for lunch and dinner. Then you add in tracking macros for lunch. You see the layers that we're doing? Then you can set macro goals and you can say, okay, I want to hit this protein number. And now you actually know what your numbers are and know where you can make tweaks in order to hit those goals. I know that is not how you want to do it. I know you want to go from not tracking anything to tracking all of your calories, every single calorie, and staying within a certain number. But I promise that is hard to sustain if you go from 0 to 100. And it is gonna be so much more sustainable if you focus on those little tiny steps. Okay, let's keep going. Eat a salad, daily movement, outside time, track my blood sugar, weigh in. There was a point that I also weighed in daily because I like seeing like the fluctuation and the average. So I'm not gonna say that that's a bad goal. Just know yourself. If that is mentally something you would struggle with, that doesn't need to be a daily habit for you. Pack my lunch, plan my food for the day, ask myself if I'm hungry, eat a filling breakfast, hit my fiber goals, stretch, intermittent fasting, deep breathing, cook at home, PT exercises, and go to sleep at a certain time. Obviously, there are so many steps that you can take related to this goal. I talked in the video from last year, which once again, if you missed the intro, I did a series similar to this last year where I talked about goal categories like this. And in that video for this topic, I talked about the 5 areas that I always recommend and work with people on when we're doing this topic one-on-one. It's water, sleep, movement, stress, and food. Those are the 5 categories. They all are important when it comes to taking care of your physical health. So keep that in mind. You probably saw that come through in these action steps, that there are actions that related to all of those categories. And depending on you as a person and your lifestyle and your job and everything else you have going on, some of those are going to be easier for you than others. Some of those are going to have a bigger impact than others. Now, yes, regardless of the fact that I don't have any certifications, I do know that food is likely going to have the biggest impact for most people, kind of regardless of where you're at. But it is very possible that sleep is going to have a big impact on your results. If you're not getting a lot or a good amount or quality sleep, water could have a really big impact on your progress and your success depending on how much water you're drinking. For me, stress was the big one. A couple of years back, I lost a good amount of weight and I had a lot of people ask like, what worked? What did you do? Etc. And I know that one of the big contributing factors was working on my stress levels and improving that. So that could have a big impact as well. And then movement. If you are somebody who is a teacher and you are on your feet all day, my guess is you get a lot of movement in anyways. And so stressing yourself out about finding time to get in this big long workout. Now, I'm not saying don't do it. If you want to get in a workout, you get in a workout. But my guess is stressing yourself out about finding time for a workout when you already do a very physical, active job, that is probably not as big of an impact on your overall progress as some of the other categories, as opposed to somebody like me who sits at my desk all day and my job is except when I'm moving my hands while I'm filming, my job is very sedentary. And so focusing on my movement can have a bigger impact on my progress. Just keep that in mind. All of these categories add up to contribute to your physical health, as well as the whole first category we talked about, like doctors and getting checkups and knowing, like having that support as well. So I'm gonna stop talking about this topic now, but I know it is a very important topic as we move into the new year. If this is a goal that you're going to set, I am here and I want to support you through that. And this is gonna be the last video that goes live. Actually, that is not true because Vlogmas is going to start in any day now. This is the last one that I'm filming that's gonna go live before the workshop series starts. So starting this upcoming Saturday for the first 3 Saturdays in December, I am going to walk you through setting up all of your goals for 2024. We are going to do all the prep work and whatever goal planner you have chosen. We're gonna pick our goals, we're gonna define them, we're gonna break them down, and get all of our action steps ready to go for the new year. And I'm so excited. So if you haven't checked out the workshop series, there is still time to sign up. The replays will be there as well. I have no plan to actually take it down. I just wanna make sure you know about it before it's live in case you do wanna join us live and get started on setting up your 2024 goals. As I've said with all of these other videos as well, if you have any other action steps that you've taken that fall into these categories that you wanna share in the comments, so this is a nice resource for everybody, I would love for you to share those. And if you like this video, if you like this series and you found it helpful, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're new here, please click that subscribe button. I feel like I just asked you to do 800 things. So subscribe if you're new here. Vlogmas is right around the corner if you want some vlogs. As of the time that I am filming this video to when this video is going live is a long ways away because I'm about to have a baby. And my brain can't really wrap its mind around Vlogmas coming and daily vlogs and having at that point, like 2-month-old, which is just all the things. Anyways, I'll see you soon on the channel. Thank you for watching. Bye. Let me try that sentence again. Complete daily step is the macros for dinner.